Hello and welcome back to Wolfgar's Plethora of Entertainment. This is Stanley. I'm here today for something a little bit different. I just got a new camera, and with a bike race happening down in the Downer Avenue area, I decided to bring it along and give it a whirl. So the bike race was the Tour of America's Dairyland, the Otto Wenz Cafe Hollander Downer Classic. Happened on Saturday, June 30th, along Downer Avenue. What they did was they rail off the streets in a roughly triangular pattern, and they go. This apparently, from talking with people, it's one of the, if not the biggest road race in the United States that happens. It's part of a 10-stage tour around the Wisconsin area that the riders take. Some of them do more than one stage, some just do a stage or two here or there, but some of the riders do quite a few of the stages in an attempt to win the entire thing. So it was a hot day on Downer Avenue, and I decided to go down and check out the race with a friend. This was my first time going to the one on Downer Avenue. I'd been to a couple of the other ones in the downtown area, and I was interested to see what the race on Downer Avenue looked like. So I found out where the race would start and end near Cafe Hollander, who was the big sponsor for the race, and decided to hoof it over. And whenever I got there, I was a little bit surprised by how big it was. There were a lot of people moving about. There were a lot of street vendors, different people that were selling odds and ends, roasted corn, bottled water, alcoholic beverages, just trying to bring in a little money from the event. Some were more businesses that were taking advantage of all the foot traffic on the street. And then there were a lot of others that were using it as a fundraising time in order to get funds for different projects they had going out through the year, which is kind of neat. After getting down to Downer Avenue, the smaller races started up right as I was walking along. A lot of young kids on bicycles and tricycles. Then old kids on large tricycles with fireworks and beer kegs chained to the back. So that was interesting. Then they ended up coming up to the main event. So once the main event started, I moved around the course, checked out some of the different turns that they would be going through, some of the breakaways, and tried to capture a little bit of decent footage to give you an idea of what goes on at these sorts of events. So without any further ado, here's the race.
Get on your bikes and ride!
Bring down the old player riders, you will go on the whistle, so we say, riders ready! We're on your way!
the race was a lot of fun. There was that dust up, I think 2 or 3 laps in, that actually knocked about a dozen people out. They had to run up the sidewalk. Some people with some injuries to get patched up, but nothing too bad, it didn't seem like. Things were pretty clean from there on out, with the occasional rider jumping to the front of the pack, the group catching them or them fading back as time went, people going for different sprint prizes, until it came down to the final 10 or so laps. Things started picking up, the excitement started picking up, people started moving in closer and closer to the finish line. And as you saw, there were 2 riders who really kind of pulled away at the end. Colin Strickland was our winner, who came in first place by quite a little bit, followed up in second place by Corey Lockwood, who actually had quite a good performance as well, both well ahead of the pack. So it was a fun time. Things were starting to settle down not long after. From the event, they started pulling down the course. There was a band that started up. Cafe Hollander had sponsored Well-Known Strangers to play after the race, pretty much right after they were doing their sound tests and got started. Apparently this is a pretty well-known local band who mixes together covers with some original music of their own. They sounded really good. The covers they did were quite good. The female lead vocalist of a broad range of the different types of singing that she did to fit the different bands that they were covering, which was pretty cool. And as the sun went down on Milwaukee, a storm came blowing through. There was a lot of heat lightning and normal lightning, but the weather tended to stay away. So it was a really nice night on Downer Avenue. It's one of the little things tucked away in Milwaukee that if you don't look out there for, then you might miss. But it's a fun little thing to pass a summer evening. I could definitely see myself doing this again in the future. So again, this was Stanley with Wolfgar's Plethora of Entertainment, and I'll see you back soon.